it's a plot to drop the IQ. Fighting amongst each other over rumors that don't like you. Prefer us trapped in melancholy with the wood wands of holly. Suggestions that obliterate to camouflage the folly. Attempted mental robbery, executed sloppily. The pompous see this mockery and walk the talk with me. Put the hands up to touch the Akasha, cause you know deep down there's something bigger than your wallet.
Sweet eternal balance of all that is good, true, and beautiful, friends. Welcome back to Rogue Ways, where today we're going to talk about the May Tarot Oracle Outlook. We look at our economy message. We look at a message for physical health, for mental and emotional health, for our romantic outlook, for the societal message of the month, for our spiritual message of the month, as well as an overall message for the month of May. So here we go. We'll get into it. But first, I always like to remind you guys, I'm Lindsay Sharman. I am a spiritual healer and teacher. I've been doing tarot for more than 30 years. I've been using the exact same deck the whole time. This is how I started to get my messages more clearly from my spiritual guidance system. I now do this more directly in many ways, as well as share that with other people. So I do channeling work on rogueways.substack.com. All of my books are channeled as well. You can get all of those on my site at rogueways.org, as well as set up a direct one-to-one meeting with you and I, whether you want to do past life tarot, whether you want to do some spiritual healing, whether you want to get some messages from your spiritual guides and allies, or maybe even do some sound healing. All of that is remote. It's via Zoom or any other method that works for you. Easy to set up. It's all through rogueways.org. And so here we go. And I also want to remind you guys of the messages we got for this month, April, last month in the tarot reading, and just sort of talk about how those have sort of looked this month, how they've played out for us, how we can see them reflected in the world around us. It's a little fun to look back and remember what the messages were and then how they have looked. We, in the economic position, got the 10 of Wands, which is oppression in this deck. And we were told that we would be, you and I, again, the messages that come through are for the people who listen to and watch this reading. So we can see ourselves, we can see our greater environment as well. But we were told that while there would be some economic foul play or, string pulling and manipulation and some oppression of the people, that you and I would be somewhat protected from that, and that we would find our way kind of out from under it. So we did see a lot of the tariff games going on, prices just in free fall. We saw gold and silver really volatile, Bitcoin and other currencies really volatile. And so a lot of that, we did see this oppression in play. And I hope that you did see, as I saw, that I was protected throughout it. I still am in a good position relatively, right? I still have everything I need, and that's all I need. And so I hope you saw that for yourself too. We definitely saw that play out in April. Our physical health message was the Father of Cups, which is Odin in this deck. And it really is a card of self-sacrifice. And the message that I got around that was that there were going to be a lot of souls who were perhaps transitioning or leaving the earthly plane and to transcend into a higher dimension. And from that space in between lives, a lot of times we can work a lot of really good magic, for lack of a better term. And that we would have a lot of these souls who are leaving in April, who were more like guardians, right? Who are going to go into a higher state for our benefit to help us through the next coming months of this year of great transformation and change on Earth and collectively and with ourselves. So you may have seen some of those. I definitely saw that in my life. Some of honestly, the people who I would have pegged as guardians transitioned into this other realm. And, there's some other ways that could look as well. Some people are taking on some physical karma. So some people got sick or got ill in a way to balance some of their own karma, but in a way to serve others too, so that some of us would have a lighter load as we move through these changes. So a lot of sacrifice on the physical health front that we saw from the people around us. And so maybe you can see that in your April, like I see it in mine. Our mental message for April was Star reversed, which is a major arcana card, bigger energy card. And really what we were told, the message that came through with that card for April, was that a lot of our societal changes would still be like digging their claws into some people who just aren't ready to let go of old paradigms. And very specifically, this looks like the sort of wokeism, the really extreme, far radical versions of that. And those people like not accepting that the rest of the world is done with that phase. We're sort of moving on from that. Better or worse, whether you like it or not, that's how the things are changing. And we're just going a lot further into kind of self-responsibility, individualism to some degree, but more like interdependence is what it will look like. And that we're seeing that on a collective level. And so the tide has changed. A lot of people still had their claws dug in and are refusing to accept that. And we did see that just like we thought we would, just like we were told we would. And that's a lot bigger transformation for those people than they may know. So wherever they're at with that, we're sort of seeing their death throes in it. And we'll see how that might transform as time goes on. So we definitely saw that, a lot of protests, a lot of the sort of, hands off and feet in the sand and lines drawn, and in the people who are holding on to that old paradigm. And so that was the mental and emotional that we saw transformed. And so we may have also seen other versions, as we were told, personally, of things that we came up against and weren't maybe ready to let go of completely, and that we were trying to still hold on to. So you may have seen some of that in your personal life as well, just in your mental paradigms and your emotional world. And I hope you did transform those things. That's what it's for. It's what it's good for. Come up against those walls and then move past them. In the romantic message, we saw the Tower reversed. And this is very similar to the Star reverse in that there's usually an attempt to hold on to something that has actually like fallen to full dust at this point. And the Star, there's a little bit like, well, we're just coming out of it and you're still holding on to it. And the Tower, it's like, look, this is gone now. Like this tower has shaken and all of this has fallen down, and you're just sitting in the rubble now, and you're just asking it to still be a tower, and it's not, right? So in this case, this would be relationships or aspects of relationships that are romantic, that we're just not letting go of. And I see this, this started way back about 5 years ago. We're in this 7-year sort of cycle in some of this stuff. And what should have been let go of way back then still hasn't been let go of today. And so if it's not a full relationship for you or the people around you that you're seeing still denying that things have fallen apart and should not exist any longer, or do not exist any longer, then it might also just be aspects of it. It might be aspects of the way we relate to our romantic partners that we're still sort of being delusional about and not accepting that it's time to let go of and move on from that. So both the Star and the Tower in this reading were like, look, things are done. You just have to get with the program, right? And this is for all of society, not just you and I. And so that was our romantic message. So hopefully if you saw that in yourself, you're able to transcend it, let it go of those old dead things. And if you're seeing that around you still, in the people who still haven't let go of things that maybe started dying or were dead 5 years ago or so, hopefully you're sending them all of the let go energy that you can manage to send. This is really time. In our society message, we saw the Three of Swords reversed. And this is a card of mourning, of letting go. And so again, just like we saw the people who are still digging their claws in, even though things have moved on, this card is emphasizing that we maybe have moved on and let go, but they haven't moved on and let go, or vice versa, depending on who's listening to this. But that there has been a separation, and it's still just not being acknowledged. So a lot of that energy was April, which is old things are dead and waiting and hanging on. And then a lot of just like not realizing it and not moving on and not letting go. So again, hopefully you and I saw that, let go, moved on, or maybe if we are able to, also helping other people to do the same. If not, that's cool. That's just what they're going to go through. That's the larger society was this Three of Swords reversed. So we've grieved, we've mourned, we've moved on. And if we haven't, it's far past time we did. One of the messages around that was this idea, and it keeps coming up for a lot of clients I'm working with, a lot of messages coming through for various people, a lot of things going on in society, is this idea of, I love you enough to let you choose for yourself. I love you and respect you enough to respect your choices, even if they're not mine, even if I don't like them. I love you and respect you enough as a soul to understand that you are doing what's best for you, even if it looks destructive or ridiculous to me, right? I love you and respect you enough to let you do that. So that kind of goes for a lot of these cards for April. And again, hopefully you've been seeing that or doing that for yourself. Our spiritual message was the Seven of Swords card of uselessness. And the idea was that this is how we may have felt spiritually in April, like that we just are incapable or we're disempowered or we're not able to fill in the blank. And again, as I've been saying, we're moving into this time where things are much more, I'm going to say, miraculous than they ever have been. Things are much brighter than they ever have been. Things are easier if you have the clarity of heart, mind, and will to create what you choose. But if you don't know that yet because you're still functioning on this old paradigm, then you may feel useless. So the message was, just like all the other things in April we've talked about, essentially, is let go of what's dead. It's a dead old concept. It's an old structure and framework to believe that you can't create the world through being a divine creator consciousness. That's dead and old. So to step into that is to admit you're not useless. You're in fact very powerful. And sometimes, as we talked about, that's a little scary. It's a little bit like, that's a lot of responsibility. We haven't had that responsibility before, perhaps. And so it's time to start developing that sense and that understanding of self and choosing that. So that's like a spiritual edict we were given, like, get your shit together. Just stand up and say, yes, this is who I am. And this is what I'm doing. I'm very useful. In fact, I am a creative creator consciousness. And so our overall message was the Six of Cups, which is happiness, which is that, despite all these things that are coming and going, that we're learning to let go of, that we're developing new concepts and consciousness around, we have this inner happiness and it's not going anywhere. We've kind of arrived in that sense. Those of us who know, and nothing can really shake that from here on out. And I'm not saying that all of us have found this like deep, abiding happiness that's just always in our lives. I'm saying, if you're listening to this, you are probably one of the people who has understood that you are a soul and that the body is this temporary experience you're having. And that is this ongoing eternal happiness, even when you get sad sometimes, you get mad sometimes, you get really full of grief, you might be depressed sometimes, but you come back to this happiness again and again and again, because once you know it, you can't ever forget it. So despite all the sort of comings and goings, hardships and difficulties, transformations and growth, it's a lot of energy, again, this year that's coming through. Despite that, we keep coming back to this happiness, and that's the message at the end for all of April. So we can see how that all played out, as was foretold. And now we're going to move into May. And May has some pretty big transformative energy. I know I keep saying that, but it's even bigger in May. And so let's just jump right into that. We'll start here with the economy, as we always do. So our economic message for this May 2025 is the Wheel of Fortune. So if you didn't understand the messages at the end of April that we were getting ready for by going through April's challenges, here you are ready to apply it, ideally. The Wheel of Fortune card is so interesting, because if you look close, you see this hand on this wheel, and Wheel of Fortune, Wheel of Fate, we have this idea that like shit happens. Things just hurt, like life is just crazy. And actually, that hand there that seems like the hand of fate, that's just this uncontrolled, wild, unpredictable, like what's going to come up out of the wheel, what's going to spin away with the turning of the wheel. We feel that way. But actually, if you look at the bottom of this card, you'll see this face looking up, and that's your face. And you're actually watching the wheel turn. You're this observer in all of life, right? You're the observer of your own experience. You're the observer of the turning of the wheel. And what you thought was this hand of fate turning that wheel is actually just your hand. There's your hand there on the wheel. And this is the sort of hidden, more esoteric side of this energy and of this card and of this message. And so what's going to happen in May is essentially whatever each person has been creating for themselves. This is kind of always true. You're kind of always manifesting, whether you know it or not. But in May, it's almost like a big result point. Like, have you been fearing? Have you been stressing? Have you been saying to yourself, there's not enough, I don't have enough, the economy is horrible, everything's going to fall apart, oh God. Or have you been saying to yourself, I live in an infinite universe and I'm an infinite soul, like what could possibly go wrong? There's endless abundance on this earth. No matter what economy does, and no matter what money does, and no matter what everything else, there's trees, there's water, there's rocks, there's gold in the ground, there's crystals down there, there's carrots growing, fruit popping out, there's all kinds of abundance. And if you've been in that mindset, then May is going to be like, here's all your abundance. So pretty wild, right? You're ready to step into that creative consciousness? You ready to remember actually that abundance that's everywhere? May's ready to hand it to you. So if you haven't yet gotten serious about it, get really serious about it. In the remaining time you have, and during May, like be really serious about every time you feel or hear that scarcity, fear message in your mind or in your heart, just counter it with, that's not true. That's a lie. I am an abundant being. There is more than enough around me. I will always have more than enough. Just do it. Just fake it till you make it. So that's pretty exciting, actually, for our economic message for May. Quite excited to see what spins up for all of us good, true, and beautiful manifestors out here. For our physical health message, we've got this pretty negative energy here. This is the 10 of Swords. It's a card of ruin. And it's literally actually the idea of ruin. It's the concept of ruin. It's the feeling of total and complete, like there is nothing left. There's no way out. It's all lost. And it's reversed here. And this is because you have, again, just like this message for our economy, you have the ability to actually say, I know it looks like everything's lost, but it's not. The end. I know I could think that logically it might make sense to believe that, but it's not true. And what's actually true is I'm never in complete ruin or loss or lack or destruction. So we could see how this will come about if there's going to be, again, a lot more deaths. There's so many reasons how that could happen. And especially if it's something that is meant to make us feel as though our bodies are not enough, as though our bodies couldn't possibly overcome something, then that would fit this message. And what would fit it even more is when you and I say, even then I'm going to be okay. Of course I am. So we want to keep that, again, just like the economy, we want to catch ourselves every time we fear or doubt our body's innate ability to be and heal. We want to counter it with, that's a lie. My body is also infinite. My body is also full of abundance. My body is also a creative creator consciousness. And it can do anything. So keep that in your heart, in your mind, in your will, because whatever might come in May might try to convince you otherwise. And it might be very, very convincing. That's what this 10 implies, right? That's what this 10 of Swords implies, is it might really take your mind a lot of work to say, even then, I don't believe that, right? So same energy as if someone was like, you have stage 4 cancer, you're going to die. And you're like, no, I'm not. You just go forward and you live, right? It happens all the time. So you just take that, you apply it to whatever is thrown at us in May on our physical health front. We are creative consciousnesses. This is one of my favorite messages of this month for April in our mental and emotional health. We've got the Sun, another major arcana card. And this is actually huge. This means that mentally and emotionally, the majority of our people, our type of people, and perhaps a lot of other people too, because of the ripples that come out, are going to access some higher level of consciousness directly, like a direct connection to the source of it. So this may be as simple as having like a spiritual or Kundalini type awakening. It might be that there is a lot of more direct sort of channeling going on for people, where messages are coming through from the spiritual level much more easily. And the amount of emotional and mental healing that goes along with that is pretty intense. You may have already been going through it in many ways, confronting old patterns, confronting old wounds, healing in many ways, right? Transforming the way you see yourself in the world. And in May, that's just like open channel. And again, I don't want to make you feel like that means that you're going to like start hearing voices or it's just so different for each person, but it might be the synchronicities, and it might be, the people who come into your life, and it might be the organizations or traditions that you suddenly discover that enlighten you and brighten your outlook and your being. And there's all sorts of things that the sun can be, but you're the rose and you have this sun and you just get to open and receive it. And it's just easy and clearer and brighter, perhaps, than it's ever been. So this is another sort of payoff moment where we've been working towards this for a while, and we just get this upgrade is what it feels like. And it is a consciousness upgrade. So it's part of that mass awakening that's going on, which is another like big dose in May, which is great. It's great timing, because if we're going to be if they're going to try to sell us on doubting our body, doubting our, ability to have abundance, doubting the future of humanity or whatever other big stressors they've got planned, we've got this brighter light and this brighter access point that is going to help us remember our creator consciousness and step right through all of that illusion. Pretty cool. So that's our mental and emotional outlook for May, and I really love that. So we'll move on to our romantic message. And we've got conflict here. This isn't always bad, believe it or not. It's just change. And so sometimes it can be really good change, but it's still just stressful. And so in our relationships, our romantic relationships, it's just kind of like we're coming up against some edges and we're just trying to resolve them. So it's not horrible. What it will perhaps look like, though, and maybe accidentally or unknowing to you, you might just be in an attacking sort of mood. So again, that comes through differently for each person. Some people are very direct and fiery about it, and some people are passive aggressive, right? There's all kinds of ways we attack the ones we love the most. And it's most likely to be in connection with some changes that are going on. And so perhaps the changes we've already sort of talked about for May, and perhaps other changes. This is often societal. It's often cultural. It's often just like a little bit bigger than just us and the person who we might be in this romantic relationship with. Again, if you're not in a romantic relationship, you still might experience this in some other way. If you're dating, if you meet someone, or just the way you feel about relationships or others that are potential relationship, fodder. So you still would be reflecting some of this in some way. And so you just want to be careful about that, because we're going to want to send it out, attack you, instead of letting some time and space evolve before we respond, and responding maybe a little bit more appropriately. But again, it's not always horrible. It's not always negative. It's not even always that, the attacker or whatever was meaning harm, right? It's just the way we bring up stuff to be resolved. So especially in times of change and stress, if the societal level, that kind of just trickles into our relationships. So we just want to watch out for it. We may not be able to fully avoid it. We may just be able to take it as an opportunity to grow through some things together, which is perfect. That's what relationships are for. So watch for the conflict that is a reflection of the larger changes in society, and, keep your heart center present. You can even, pray about this or ask for guidance for when this moment comes, to remember yourself and to remember your goals of being, however it is you have a goal of being, right? Open, true, good, beautiful, loving, whatever it is. And your guides will help you do that. So keep that in your heart. And then, this is so fascinating. This is on a societal level. We have the Ace of Stones here. And this comes across in different ways, but for the most part, this is a new, I'll say, emerging understanding that all of us are able to and deserve to live and work and receive abundance for that which is most truly and uniquely our passion and purpose. So that's different for everyone, but whatever it is that you genuinely feel like, I love this, I would love to be doing this, I would love to get money for this, right? To have this be the way that I support myself in my life. I would love to have this be my contribution to society. That could be like dog walking for some people. It could be tarot reading for some people. It could be, taking care of other people in some way. It could be fishing. I mean, like, it could be anything, because it's your channel. You are this unique way that the divine comes through into the world, and the way that you love to do and be and create and contribute is different from anyone else, no matter what it is. So it's not necessarily that everybody's suddenly going to step into their dream role, although that may be a lot of us doing that. It is more that the understanding will emerge that, like, that's what's right? That's what's good. And that it actually can be true that that is how life is. It doesn't have to be true that, everybody's trudging away at some dismal job they hate just to get money. That doesn't have to be the way the world works. We can have everyone's needs met and have everyone contributing from their unique channel. And that is the understanding that is emerging more and more in May. And more people will actually find the route to it in May. So both are true. This is on a societal level. This is emerging, is the message that I'm getting. Again, it's been there for a long time. There's plenty of people who have always said, like, follow your bliss, live your dream, why not you, all those things. This is much more of a collective reckoning that, yeah, that is the way. That is actually what we have to achieve. And it's not hard to do. So very cool. I love this. This is, again, one of those bigger shifts that's happening in collective consciousness. And it's really beautiful. It's a beautiful shift. Spiritual message, another major arcana. And I'll tell you that Ace of Stones is almost like a major arcana. And then we have 3 others in this reading. So it is, again, a very big transformative month. Big energies, just like we knew were coming all of 2025. And so May has this. And the Chariot here in this placement, in this reading of our spiritual message for the month, is just amazing. It's just so cool. And sometimes a little scary, and that's okay. But essentially the Chariot is like, look, you faced your darkness, you faced your shadow, you faced some immense challenge that maybe terrifies you to the core, and you came through it. And look at you on fire, just riding right over the top of it, just like nothing. Which doesn't mean it was easy, actually. It just looks that way. By the time you're on fire burning and like riding on top of it, yeah, it looks easy. But it might not have been. So May might be like big exceptional challenges for all of the things we just outlined. Big economic, like see through the delusion and create your abundance. Big physical health challenges that you have to see through the illusion and create your abundance, right? Big transformations in consciousness for all of society, like, on the mental, emotional level, on the societal level of the work and energy and abundance level, big energies like that, big relational challenges because of all these changes. So a lot of potential that you do have a lot of shadow work to face. But like we said, you've done a lot of the work. April, you did the work. May, all these previous months, all years, you've done the work. And then May, you're just going to ride right through it. Which, again, doesn't make it super easy in the moment necessarily. But look at this. You see right behind you on fire there on your Chariot in May, that you have your spiritual guidance there. It looks like a wolf to some people, a warthog to people, looks like all kinds of things. Part of why I love this deck. It's very interpretive. But that's your spiritual guidance. That's your allies and guides. It's your protection. They're right there. They're like never, and they're bigger than you. They're like, yeah, of course we're here. What are you talking about? We were always going to ride through this with you. Like, we're just not going to leave you. So you're just protected. You're guided through it. So your guidance is in, your channel is open, the sun is there, your aurora is opening to the light, and you're going to move through a lot of this darkness, and we're going to do that together collectively. So big, beautiful spiritual message for May. Love that energy. And our final message, our overall message for May is this 10 of Cups, which is the message of success. This is emotional success. Again, a lot of these transformations we're going to be facing are going to ask us to hey, it's do or die. Like, create your abundance or don't, right? Like, get on this train of the new world, the new society, the new age, for lack of a better word, this ascendance buzz we got going on, or don't. But you and I here, again, we're getting these messages because we do, because we've created emotional wellness in ourselves, because we've already confronted so much of our ancestral and personal karma and trauma and darkness, right? On the societal level, a collective level as well. We're doing that. So not just you and me and the people who listen to or watch Rogue Ways or this show or here on Gnostic TV, but everybody has the potential to be doing this work, and there's pockets of us everywhere. That's why it's a wave that's been building that can't be stopped. even though there's plenty who would like to stop it. So sad for them. So again, doesn't mean they're not going to make a bunch more trouble, a bunch of stuff that we're going to have to create through and stay connected to our heart. Again, have a clear mind of what our future looks like, our future world, our future humanity, right? Have a strong will that we know for sure that's exactly what we're doing. And we know there's nothing that's going to stop us, right? It's that or nothing. So do or die. So we've created this emotional wellness in this. And, that makes it easier to see through the illusions. It makes it easier to see through the propaganda and the messaging that tries to convince you otherwise, right? And that's why we get to look at this economic wheel turning and go, yeah, I'm going to turn it for my abundance. Right? And that's why we get to look at this attempt to make us doubt our physical health and wellness, our ability to heal anything, and say, no, I heal everything. My body's amazing. It's a miracle. Right? And that's why we get to connect emotionally and mentally to this new light. It's not a new light, it's an old light. It's just a new access to it. It's a clearer access to it. We get to just receive that now, right? That's why even though conflict might come in our relationship, in our romantic relationships, we will be able to move through it because this is part of our emotional success that we've created. It's why we get to, as a society, finally reckon with everyone has something to offer that's constructive and it's exactly what they love and are passionate about. And also everyone's responsible for themselves. It's beautiful. It's perfect. Right? And that's why we will face any darkness, any old wound, any amount, and say, yeah, we got this. And be guided through it, is because of this emotional success. So we've been heading here a long time. We've got a lot coming at us that are like a payoff for us in May. May is a huge month of transformation, of uplifted consciousness, and of new ways opening up collectively. And it couldn't be better timed. Of course, everything in perfect time, right? So I'll just remind you that I work with people one-on-one as well. If you want your own reading of how May is going to go for you or the rest of the year is going to go for you, you can come at a life path reading. I do past life readings as well. I do sound healing. I do spiritual guidance sessions. All of that's there at rogueways.org. You can get my channeled messages from the spiritual ancestors, the ascended masters, at rogueways.substack.com. I would love to have your support there. If you love what I do, it's the best way to keep me going, to keep the show going, and to get those extra channeled messages, which are profound and beautiful and amazing. So go check those out. And Lightning Oracle Tuesdays are something I like to invite everyone to, because if everything else feels out of your reach, Lightning Oracle Tuesdays are super accessible. It's just $10. It's the first and third Tuesday of every month. Everyone who signs up gets a message directly from their spiritual guides and allies, or a question answered. You can keep it to yourself or share it with the group. It doesn't matter. And just being there in the group is super healing and uplifting and bright. So I invite everyone to come to Lightning Oracle Tuesdays. That is there as well on rogueways.org, or you can go straight to the booking site, which is calendly.com/rogueways, and you can book any of those sessions, including Lightning Oracle Tuesdays. They're all there at calendly.com/rogueways, or you can get to it from the site, rogueways.org. So that is your April. I will just also May 2025, and I'll just remind you that our overall yearly reading, the card for May was Spider Woman, who is the mother of stones, and she was reversed. And the message was, you will be tempted to forget how connected you are. You'll be tempted to forget how solid you are. You'll be tempted to forget your abundance and your connections to yourself, to the earth, to other humans, to source. There'll be something that will invite you to forget that. And so don't forget. And that matches all the messages we just got. That some things are going to come at us that are going to seem perhaps too big for us or impossible. And we have to keep our miracle mindset. We have to keep our abundance mindset. And we have to keep our knowledge of ourselves as souls intact. We have to remember that we're not doing any of this alone. That not only are there millions of people around Earth who are on this same wavelength, who are doing this same work, but we're surrounded by guides and allies who are rooting for us and are working for the same outcome. So don't forget your resources. Don't forget your connection. Go into your heart, go into your will, go into your mind, and just make these things clear to yourself that this is how it's going to be. You're creating this. So choose it intentionally. Do it. If you want some orgone, I've got always some pillars and Orgone Lotus votives. That's also there on rogueways.org. And these are so handy and massively powerful. I can't say enough about them. They're straight from source, channeled through, made into form, into material for you. They always have many layers of crystal, of precious metals, of flowers and plant essences, and they're blessed divinely. And these, you just get to tell it what it is that you're doing. I'm manifesting this, I'm creating this, I'm assisting with this, I'm healing this, do this with me, do this for me. And this is your consciousness in action, your connection to source in action. So you can get any of these devices on my site at rogueways.org. No one else makes them like this. I've been told this by my guidance many times. They're unique, they're exceptionally powerful, they're really beautiful. So I hope that I can help you in that way too, if that feels better for you. Whatever it is you choose, travel well, aim for balance, and always look inside first. Mwah.
Glued to them screens, it's a plot to drop the IQ. Fighting amongst each other over rumors that don't like you. Refurbished, trapped in melancholy with the wood wands of holly. Suggestions that obliterate to camouflage the folly. Attempted mental robbery, executed sloppily. The pomp receive this mockery and walk the talk with me. Put the hands up to touch the Akasha, cause you know deep